I'm Robert Barnes with Fence Makeovers. People ask, do we need to power wash our fence before we stain? And the answer is no. Depending on what's going on with your fence, but realistically, no, you don't want to power wash a fence. By power washing a fence, you scar the wood even more. What you end up really doing is you're tearing into the wood, cleaning the wood. So people always ask, what's the difference between bleaching and power washing? And I'm about to show you here on this one here, the difference between bleaching and power washing. They both do the exact same thing. They both clean the wood. However, with bleaching of your fence, we're not physically tearing into the wood, tearing wood off of it to clean it. What the bleaching process does the same thing. We're cleaning the wood out by taking all the mildew, the mold, the dirt, the dust, the pollen out of the wood. As you can see physically before in real time by your eye, you can see that the gray, which is dirt, dust, pollen buildup on your wood, is naturally getting cleaned and washed out of the fence. Versus with a power washer, no matter what level the person's using, you can do it, your neighbor's kid can do it, your husband can do it, whoever, doesn't matter who does it. They are going to use whatever pressure they feel like is right. The other thing with that is using different levels of pressure is going to depend on what kind of damage are we going to do to the fence. How many layers of wood are we going to remove from the fence? People always go layers of wood. Yes, when you power wash a fence, you're tearing into the wood of the fence, making the fence fuzzy. You deteriorate a layer of the wood away to the point where physical facial value doesn't look the same. And the big thing I always tell customers is when they power wash a fence, take a look at the edges of the corners of your boards. Do they have that nice, crisp, clean look still? Or do they have a fuzzy texturing to the fence? And that's the big thing we always tell customers. With bleaching the fence, your physical facial value stays the same. Again, we're bleaching the fence here with a 40 to 60 PSI. Yes, it's not a lot of pressure because you don't need a lot of pressure. You just need just enough for the wood to understand there is pressure being applied, but we're not overdoing it. Because you can't actually overdo pressure to the point where you're taking layers and layers off. Big thing I always tell customers when it comes to power washing versus bleaching, if they are going to power wash your fence, ask them, are you going to remove 100% of what's there? Because the big thing you'll find out immediately is yes or no. Because if they're not going to remove 100% what's there, why not just bleach the fence and then stain it in a solid latex-based stain? Behind us, they are having to go back over it another time because the fence is just that dirty. The dirtier the fence is, the more bleaching, the longer the process takes to really get cleaned out. So here we're actually going through, guys, we're bleaching out the inside of the fence. Notice the gate, how much mildew and mold is on that fence. Question, is that going to come off? Not all of it. However, after a second or even a third time around, it will go away where you don't see it as green anymore. Unfortunately, because you see the dark green, almost like a black color, that is scarring to the wood. So after we go through, bleach it, and it dries, when we go through and stain, you still will have that design on the gate. However, again, going with a solid latex-based stain instead of an oil-based stain, we will be able to hide that better.